Let's get nuts indeed, guys. What is happening? Welcome to Film Junkie Live on your Monday, August 11th. Holy crap. Summer went by pretty quick, huh? Even though it's still hot, even though it's still August. Very strange, because back in my day, whoops, don't turn it down too much. Back in my day, it seemed like the new school year started in September. Now it's like all schools are now just, starting up right now and everything. It's just pretty crazy. Anyways, welcome, guys. Thank you guys for spending some time with me. Hit that like, thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. Do all the things. Become a member. Do a members only stream on Wednesday. Patreon's right there too. I do a post-show video on there that's about 4 or 5 minutes, talking about all that. So hopefully you guys are doing good. Let's see who is out there. We got Mr. Ryan. What's happening, sir? Good to see ya. Going on Clone Avenger. Just binged all the Alien movies. I gotta say, I loved Prometheus and Alien Covenant quite a bit. Fassbender was awesome as David and Walter. I know. And sadly, it doesn't seem like we're gonna see any conclusion to that. Ugh, sad. Monique, how's it going, Monique? Hope you're having a marvelous Monday. Yeah, Monday's not too bad. Just hot, still hot. Going through a little heat wave over here, but we're at the tail end of this heat wave. Thank God when it comes to California. Leftover pork loin paired with basmati? Not familiar with that word. Rice, but it sounds interesting. I'd love me some rice. And knockoff jalebi chicken gravy at the house. Okay, so Jollibee. Is it Jollibee? Jollibee. I don't think I've had that chicken yet, and I know it's good chicken. I've actually driven past the corporate building that's in like the LA area. I've seen it a couple of, but I don't think I can't remember if maybe I have had that kind of chicken, but I know it's, I hear it's really good chicken. I think I might have, I don't know. But sounds delicious as always. Chicken and gravy, oh, sounds good. Sounds good. I had a pretty good meal tonight though too, or this evening I should say. What's going on, Hard-Boiled Entertainment, Mr. Eric and Quentin has said recently that he'd love to see a rebooted First Blood that's true to the novel, maybe starring Adam Driver as Rambo. Of course, true to the book means he dies in the end. Yeah. Spoiler alert! Yeah, he does. I remember, I've never read the book, but I heard that, the First Blood book, John Rambo doesn't survive. But, they made him survive, and then it turned into a franchise, and we're going to be talking about what they're doing with that franchise now, and who is the new John Rambo, which I'm sure you guys already know who that is. What's going on, Mr. Fear Jason? Always great to see you, my friend. You're writing a huge Batman story. Well, I'm intrigued. Jason, what is happening, sir? Hopefully you're doing well, too, my friend. Great to see you. Jollibee, that's what it is, Jollibee. Yo, what's up? Clanker is in the house. Watch out, guys. Do I like potatoes? Tom C., I think I saw you during the vodka stream talking about I look like a potato. Do I like potatoes? I don't know what this trolling account is, but it has to do with potatoes. I don't mind potatoes. Potatoes are good. You can do so many things with potatoes. And, I'm a fan of vodka. You guys know this. And what do they... how do they make vodka? They use potatoes, right? In some form. What's going on, Mr. Laugh Now, Cry Later? Darren, what's happening, sir? We got Arkham Knights 99. What's happening? It's all weapons, and oh my God, it was so good, and the ending was unexpected and not predictable as I thought it would be. Yes. Great stuff. For my Green Lantern fans, Kyle Rayner is going to be the new animated series, My Adventures with Green Lantern as Jessica Cruz's friend in high school. Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll definitely talk about that. Billy Bob, what's happening? You rock. No, you guys, all you guys rock. I'm just here talking nonsense into a microphone. It's you guys that rock. But thank you, Billy Bob, for doing that. And apparently you're a Dolphins fan. Hey, the new NFL season is about to kick off, man. I tell you, it's about to kick off. Also got Jacob right here. Good to see you, buddy. How many movies did you see this weekend, Jacob? How many movies? I stayed home this weekend. I didn't do shit this weekend because I was gone previous weekend. I was gone at Laughlin, so I was like, you know what? I ain't going anywhere this weekend. And I, watched some movies that I hadn't seen and movies I had seen. If you guys follow me on Twitter, yeah. I watched Raising Arizona. So here we go. Here's my movie watches for this Saturday. Random, because like I said, what I love about Hulu is it'll just be like, hey, the next one's going to start if you leave it on. And I just go, yeah, go for it. Just play the next thing. You know how we get so indecisive about what movie we want to watch on these streaming services? These streaming services have so many movies, and we just go, I don't know what I want to watch. And then you just end up watching something you've watched like 76 times. So what I like about Hulu, they all recommend what to do next, but Hulu will just automatically start playing it. So I picked Raising Arizona because I hadn't seen it in a while. Classic, watch it if you haven't. Coen Brothers, one of their first. Nicolas Cage, ridiculous movie. You'll see some familiar faces like a John Goodman and whatever in there. Great movie. I put that on, and then it decided to pick a movie that I have not seen in forever, and that is The Beach. You guys remember The Beach? It came out 25 years ago. Which, when I was like, when did The Beach come out? With Leo DiCaprio, Danny Gilroy? I typed it in, and I was like, oh, it came out in the year 2000. Holy shiza. And I forgot how crazy that movie is. It's Danny Gilroy. What do you expect? It's a good movie. But I remember when it came out, it really didn't do much. But I remember, because I was in high school when that happened, when that movie came out. And I remember watching it when it came out on like HBO or one of the movie channels. And yeah, I remember watching it back then. So then I hadn't seen it since, really. But yeah, I watched The Beach. That's what Hulu picked. And I was like, you know what? I haven't seen this movie in like 24 years. So I watched that. Right after. And then Hulu just goes, okay, now let's watch Predator. And I went, okay, Hulu, let's watch Predator. I'm down for some Predator. Naturally, I was like working, I was doing some editing and stuff, and I wasn't like, when it came to Raising Arizona, I watched that big time, and so did The Beach. I was like sitting in my chair, just kind of like watching it for the most part. But and then occasionally I would come to my computer and like, a clip that I was editing, I would do some things. But when Predator was on, I've seen it a million times. So I was mainly editing and working on shit when that happens. But I just love that movie so much, obviously. And then right after that, it picks Alita Battle Angel. So there was my 4 movies that I watched in the evening of Saturday. Very random, but like I said, I like it when the algorithm of Hulu decides to pick it for me. So Raising Arizona, The Beach, Predator, and Alita Battle Angel. Not a bad Saturday movie watch. And then yesterday, I picked 2 movies that I wanted to watch that I hadn't seen. I watched The Amateur, and I watched A Real Pain. I've been wanting to watch this movie. The Amateur, pretty decent little espionage, spy-y type movie with Rami Malek, Lawrence Fishburne. Hey, Rachel Brosnahan's in there too. I wanted to see it in the theater, but I didn't catch it when it came out in theaters. Not a bad movie. It has the similar beats and everything. It's a pretty twisty, turning type movie. I recommend it. I didn't hate it. But, I didn't love it or anything. I just thought, oh, that decent little espionage, spy type movie. And then I watched A Real Pain, which, of course, is Jesse Eisenberg's movie that won Kieran Culkin an Academy Award last year. And I really enjoyed that. I thought Jesse Eisenberg was trying to be a little too artsy-fartsy with it, with the score, because it was like a lot of piano score. And I was kind of going, a little too much piano with the score, I thought. But overall, I thought him and Kieran Culkin had really, really good chemistry. Now, it's kind of funny because it made me think of something, and I don't know if you guys maybe think about this too. But, so Kieran Culkin won an Academy Award for that role, and he does a great job. But there's not much of a stretch to the Kieran Culkin that we know. And it kind of reminded me of when Brad Pitt won Best Supporting Actor, too, for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I'm just kind of going like, yeah, this is kind of similar. It's a similar thing because Brad Pitt and Kieran Culkin, when they played these roles that won them Best Supporting Actor Academy Awards, there wasn't really much. But you know what they had in common? They were just cool. Like, they were characters that you went, something about this guy. There's something about this guy. He's just cool. He doesn't give a fuck. He just says what he's thinking, and he just does. Maybe that's why. I don't know. It's just kind of interesting because, yeah, again, I'm not shitting on their performances. I just kind of go, was it really worthy of an Academy Award? Were they really going, were they really, doing something out of their comfort zone? No, it was kind of just them, but acting in a character that was kind of cool and didn't give a shit. So I don't know. But anyways, that was my weekend of watching movies. Like I said, I didn't even leave the house because, again, previous weekend I was gone for 4 days, or 3 days, I should say. So I was like, you know what? When you have like that kind of weekend, you just want to stay home. Not to mention it was hot as shit. Like I said, we got a heat wave happening right here. But anyways, guys, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and everything. So do all that. Oh crap! I still need to watch. Watch The Amateur. It's not a bad little movie. My friend hates The Amateur with a passion and makes rants about it for 10 minutes. Holy crap! I didn't know it was like that bad. But all right, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a decent movie. All right, guys, let's get into it. Let's get into the tweets, huh? Let's get into the tweets, and we're gonna start off with Mr. John Bernthal. John Bernthal, we love John Bernthal. John Bernthal is just one of those guys, when you see him, you go, I like that guy. I like that guy. My dad said that, actually. He said that every time he sees John Bernthal, he goes, yeah, I like that guy. He's just that guy. John Bernthal, he's not like a leading man, even though I hope he doesn't like try. I mean, I know like he is the Punisher, and obviously he leads the Punisher. But it's so funny because certain actors just kind of you see the guy. He's never like the lead guy. I mean, he is the lead guy. I think he was also in that series that was about that old movie, The Gigolo. Didn't he do something like that? Which I think it was for Showtime or something. And I remember it was like there was like a book or something. And then I remember the Richard Gere movie that came out in like the 70s or whatever. And I think he did like the little remake of that series or whatever. But anyways, there's just something about John Bernthal. You see him, and it's so funny too, talking about The Amateur. John Bernthal is in the Amateur. I was like, oh shit, John Bernthal, he's in this. But anyways, we know that the Punisher special presentation or whatever the hell it's called, that's going to be on Disney Plus, which I still can't get. It's still hard to wrap my brain around that. The Punisher, an R-rated, action-packed, gory, special presentation exclusively on Disney Plus. It's just weird. But anyways, they wrapped, and here's John Bernthal on the set talking to the talking to people and everybody, thanking them, doing that whole speech at the end.
I really believe with heart and belief and teamwork and love, the impossible really is possible. And this motherfucker was impossible, but we really fucking did it. We really fucking did it. And this street right here has been magic to us. Woo! Because of this person right here, and this person right here, and this motherfucker right here, and that motherfucker right here, and you.
He ain't holding back with the F-bombs. Telling you, man. I said it last week. Turn that off. I said it last week when we got the reveal of the new Punisher suit. I was like, dude, the beard game is strong. That's what I was fixated on the most. I'm like, that beard is exquisite. That beard is exquisite. I think he shaved it though. I saw a video of him showing up to the Washington Commanders training camp. That was posted today, or I think it was today, or maybe it was yesterday, but it was probably recorded yesterday or sometime this weekend. He shaved the beard. So I'm kind of going, okay, so obviously, I almost called him Frank. John Bernthal is going to be going from filming this to filming Brand New Day, because he's in Spider-Man Brand New Day. I'm just wondering, I'm like, oh, is that sweet beard not going to be in Spider-Man Brand New Day? I don't know. But John Bernthal, love that guy. I love all the F-bombs and everything. And again, one of the things that we have to remember is the fact that John Bernthal fought for for his Punisher to live. If you guys remember that. Because he was not going to show back up in the MCU. And now the MCU version, with Daredevil Born Again, remember that whole thing? Because they were going to MCU Daredevil and they were going to MCU Punisher. Bernthal wanted nothing to do with that. And that's why they, hey, maybe we should go with what worked before. And they did. And, season 1 of Born Again was great, especially the interaction with him and Red. So, good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right. Man. Well, if you guys were hoping for that Will Smith and Michael Bay reunion that was actually teased when it came to that new Netflix movie called Fast and Loose, it ain't happening. That's right. It got slapped out of our lives. Exclusive! Netflix is back out looking for a director for Fast and Loose after Michael Bay and Will Smith were unable to bridge creative differences, and Bay shook loose at the film yesterday. So there you go. That was actually supposed to happen. It was going to be like a nice little reunion. Obviously, Bad Boys reunion, because Michael Bay directed the first 2 Bad Boys movies. And it was like, oh, okay, that could work. Sweet. But Big Willie... who knows what happened there? Or maybe Michael Bay saw, Will Smith's last music video, which was horrible. You guys remember that thing? Oh, terrible. Absolutely terrible. But yeah, so Will Smith, he just slapped that out of, any movie slate at least. But we'll see what happens with that. Anyways. Holy shit. Okay, so this movie right here. Okay, this is so there's a horror movies, even if they're not, okay, so what I'm loving right now, I mean, obviously we talk about the big superhero movies, which, we have fun with, we love, but of course there's just like crazy discourse, there's crazy this, crazy that, and then of course there's too many sequels and reboots and prequels and blah, 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 blah. But when original ideas, like we had this weekend with Weapons, when you have something like that where you go, oh, this is intriguing, and obviously the horror genre has just been thriving, and please do not say, and I've even seen it, like when people said, when Weapons came out, oh my God, horror's back. I'm like, fuck off, it's been here, okay? The horror genre has been thriving for like the last 5, maybe 6 years. I don't know. It's been thriving. Now we have this right here. And I already know this movie's going to be difficult to watch, but it's so intriguing, and I'm going, holy shit. And I had no idea this movie existed, because apparently it played at some film festival and people raved about it. But here we go, guys. It's called Good Boy. So here's the poster right here. It's called Good Boy, starring Indy, and I love that. And look at this creepy-ass poster. You have a dog, and you have a bunch of shadowy, crazy hands that are reaching for the dog. So let's look at this right here. Described as a horror shot from the perspective of a dog who sees its owner haunted by supernatural entities. Currently has a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes and has been called one of the most heartbreaking horror films of 2025. Please tell me that this good boy does not die. He probably does. I don't know if it's heartbreaking, but that is intriguing, because I'm sure many of you out there have had dogs. You've owned dogs, or probably currently have a dog. Okay, I don't have a dog right now, but my mom does, and I've had dogs in my past. How many times has your dog just started randomly barking at the corner of a goddamn room, or has been looking, ears perked up, looking at the ceiling, and you're going, what are you looking at? What the hell you're going, what the hell are you looking at? I can't get you to look at the goddamn TV screen when a dog's on, but you're looking at the corner of the goddamn room and your ears are perked up. What are you looking at? So now we're going to see a movie where this dog is seeing all that. And yes, it seems like it's going to be, to me, it's going to be a difficult watch. I hope the dog lives, but it says heartbreaking. It says heartbreaking, but you can guarantee you throughout throughout the movie, the dog's gonna be like frightened and crying and doing some things, and so it's gonna be a difficult one to watch. But I am so intrigued by this. Holy Lord! But we'll see. My cats look up at certain... Yeah, cats do that shit too, man. But, I mean, talk about a really... That's an original idea, an intriguing idea. That's pretty sweet. So, but I'm just going, oh, man, this movie's going to punch my heart in the balls, isn't it? Right there. Oof. Going to punch the heart in the balls. It doesn't say a release date. I didn't see a release date. So we're going to have to look that up. I don't know. It doesn't say a release date on Discussing Film. So I know it showed up because Mr. Chandler, Sean Chandler, who is a bigger YouTuber than I am, he went to whatever film festival it was at, and he actually commented. He commented on my post and basically said that, oh yeah, his theater raved. They were like cheering for it. So hopefully, I don't know. It seems like it's gonna be good. It's good. That's just, again, an intriguing original idea in the horror genre. Godzilla -1. You want to see something pretty cool? Well, Godzilla -1 has, obviously took the world by storm, obviously a couple of years ago, and people still talk about it to this day. We have a guitar designed by Takashi Yamazaki, and look at this thing. So you got a Godzilla guitar. Look at that beauty right there. Holy Lord. That is amazing. So you got Godzilla right there as the base of it. His spikes are lit up. And then, of course, when it comes to the bridge of the guitar, it's also lit up with blue. Look at that beautiful thing right there. I mean, that thing probably is heavy as all hell. That's a guitar you don't really play. You just display it. Like it's a piece of art. Like you don't actually play that guitar. You display it on a wall or in a case. Yeah, that is an absolute thing of beauty right there. Ooh, baby. Gotta love that. Jeez. It just shows you how great of a movie that guy made. Highlander reboot. That's right, the Highlander reboot just got somebody added to the cast. That's right. If you guys remember that Chad Stahelski is going to be doing a Highlander reboot starring Mr. Henry Cavill. And, obviously the casting is happening. It's supposed to start shooting, I don't know if it's soon or maybe early next year or whatever the hell, but we have our bad guy. That's right, because, we have Russell Crowe, and now we have Dave Bautista. He's going to be playing the villain. I forgot what the villain's name is. Oh, his name is, thank you, Mr. Scoot right here, is the villain who is actually played by, what's his name? I can't remember his name, but yeah, he's going to play Kerrigan. But he was played by the guy who voiced Lex Luthor. He's been in a lot of movies and stuff. That guy. But yeah, so Highlander has has their villain, and that's Dave Bautista. Apparently, Dave Bautista is also going to be part of Roadhouse 2. It was like a joint, like that whole article. It was saying, oh yeah, he's in final talks to join Highlander, and then he's also going to be joining Roadhouse 2. So Dave Bautista is remaining busy. That's good. Let's see here. Hold on. Guys, I have an exclusive for you. That's right, an exclusive. A DCU exclusive. Exclusiva! That's right. You remember how James Gunn was talking about, oh yeah, we're going to have some animated shorts when it comes to Krypto. Krypto is going to have animated shorts that's going to be on the internet, and I think we have our first look right here. Check it out, guys. Oh, shit.
All right, got him.
Sorry. Sorry. I mean, it's just South Park. Of course, South Park, that was the last episode that they had when it came to that. So I was like, Jesus Christ. Oh, yeah, that's right. That was the latest South Park episode, where, Christy Nome. If you guys know Christy Nome, I don't know when it was. It was a couple of years ago. She got backlash when it came to killing a dog or whatever. So they ran with the joke of, well, Superman being, popular this year and Krypto being popular, why not have her shoot Krypto out of the sky? It's just like, oh man. It's funny. Like I said, hey, South Park, they don't hold back. Why not? They don't hold back. Holy Lord. Jesus Christ. Oh, I won't talk about that. We'll talk about that. I'm going to make a note of that. Something I posted that's part of the main topics. Let me make a little note. What's going on, Rhea? Good to see you out there. All right. Good to see you. All right. Let's see what else we got. We'll talk about James Gunn stuff. We don't need to talk about that or anything. Already talked about that. Hey, you guys hear of this movie that's coming out on August 22nd called Splitsville? That's right. Well, Adria Arjona? You know who that is. She's been talked about being like Wonder Woman and whatnot. She's gorgeous. She's, of course, dating Jason Momoa. They released like this is what's funny. It's like they knew exactly what they were doing with this. They knew exactly what they were doing with this still that Collider got. Okay, so I've seen the trailer. Looks interesting. It's called Splitsville. I forgot. Okay, hold on. I forgot who else stars in Splitsville because I've seen it. Not seen it, but I've seen the trailer. Splitsville. Oh, of course, I didn't type it right. Splitsville. That's right. Who's it star besides her? Of course. Oh yeah, it stars what's her name? Dakota Fanning. She's also in there. A couple other guys. It's about these two guys, two girls. And it's all, it looks interesting. It actually looks like a pretty good movie, okay? But it's just funny because they're like, oh, yeah, we got an exclusive new look at what is it? What's her name again? Adria. I almost said Adria Arjona? I don't know. But, yeah, they're like, here's an exclusive, little still shot. And it's like, Jesus Christ, you guys knew exactly what you were doing with this one. Holy... I mean, come on. Beautiful. They're like, side boob. Let's just side boob that shit. And a lot of people want her as Wonder Woman, but But yeah, they were like, oh yeah, let's just release that image. Side boob. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying it just made me laugh, but I'm definitely not complaining. Margot Robbie. Is Margot Robbie going to be returning as Harley Quinn in the DCU? It's been probably not. And she shouldn't, to be honest. She had her time. I don't think she would want to come back. Well, I don't know. It just seems like, probably not. And of course we're kind of like going, well, she could essentially if James Gunn wanted it to, if that's canon, if that's not. But then of course he talks about how the Suicide Squad, not exactly canon, even though Peacemaker technically is canon. I don't know. It's, again, it can be a little confusing and James Gunn doesn't do the best job of explaining what's canon, what's not. But according to this, Hollywood Reporter, little email thing, whatever this article thing that came out, Margot Robbie could theoretically still be in the DC, can be the DCU's Harley Quinn, but it's said to be unlikely. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they do have another Harley Quinn, it'd just be somebody else. Margot Robbie, she did her time. She had 3 movies, by the way. She had her trilogy of movies where she was very much relevant in it, all 3 movies. She had Suicide Squad, she had her movie, and then, of course, Birds of Prey, and then, of course, The Suicide Squad. So, she had her time. She's a great Harley Quinn. Not complaining. I think, I hope we could see more of her Harley Quinn when it comes to, hey, releasing that haircut eventually. That'd be pretty sweet. But, yeah, I think she's kind of had her time, and she's a mom now. And she's, taken on certain roles. I think she's probably had her time. But you never know. But I think her time is done. But we'll see. Oh, Zach Cregger. That's right. His Henchman DCU movie. He's been talking about this a lot, and I think he's just talking about it because, he hasn't pitched it yet to James Gunn or DC Studios. But it's been talked about. It's been talked about in interviews. He's talked about it like, oh yeah, I wrote a movie that takes place in the DCU and blah, blah, blah. And, Zach Cregger, he's got that Resident Evil movie coming out that, it's very interesting of those details. We'll get to that in a little bit. But when it comes to his DCU movie, everybody's kind of wondering because it was at first going, oh, it's a Joker and Harley movie. It's a Joker and Harley movie. And it was like, oh, okay. I don't know if they would want to do a Joker and Harley movie, especially after what happened with, Joker 2. What happened with that one. But turns out it's not quite that. Not quite that. It is this. It follows a low-level henchman in Gotham who gains notoriety after incapacitating Batman by sheer luck. Harley Quinn and Joker appear in the story. Hasn't been pitched to DC yet. What? Wait a minute. There's something. If you guys watch DC Fanimated, and Scott, this is why Scott McClellan, he's the brainchild of the DC Fanimated stream. I totally forgot about it, but I was like, oh, okay, cool. It's about a henchman within that world. It's not exactly about Joker and Harley Quinn. It's just a henchman in there. So, and then he was like, oh yeah, there was an episode of Batman the Animated Series called, come on, The Man Who Killed Batman. Yeah, he didn't obviously kill Batman, but there's just like these certain events that happen when it comes to, and it's a Joker episode where he's just at the, right place at the right time kind of thing. And it's kind of got a similar vein when it comes to that. And I was like, oh, okay. So I wouldn't be, again, Zach Cregger, Barbarian and Weapons, he's already winning my heart. I liked Weapons more than Barbarian, but man, I'm telling you, the man's winning my heart. And so I'm just kind of going, okay, yeah, if he wants to pitch that and see what happens with that, we'll see. This probably won't happen. Probably won't happen, but the fact that it's out there and the fact that he's putting it out there, it's kind of cool. In my opinion, I'm like, it's kind of cool. Kind of cool that he's like, try to put it out there and see if like maybe James Gunn will be like, kind of like your idea. And some people are like, oh, he's just ripping off The Man Who Killed Batman. I'm like, and Mike Flanagan, what is he ripping off Feet of Clay when he literally said it's inspired by Feet of Clay? No, there's nothing wrong with inspirations, I would say. Nothing wrong with inspirations. All right, what else we got? Let's talk about this right here. Because this right here, one of the best moments in Man of Steel or in comic book movies altogether, in the genre, one of the best moments, one of my favorite moments, because it's so subtle, it's so heartfelt, and when I saw the GIF come across my Twitter feed, I posted about that, and a lot of people, of course, were like, yes, this is such, and it's this scene right here. Now, it's in GIF form, so there's not going to be any audio, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's this right here. This shot right here. You know what she says. You hear what she says. It's so subtle. Nice suit, son. It's so heartwarming and so subtle that she just goes, nice suit, son. And then she gives him a hug. She gets on her tippy toes. She one-hands it because she's holding something after, of course, the fight with Zod at the Ken farm. And it's just, I don't know. This is one of my favorite all-time moments in a superhero movie. And it's funny, too, because like I said, seeing that reaction, of course you get some of the assholes that want to push back against it and say, like, you can't see anything. It's all dark and the shadows and blah, blah, blah. It's like, shut up. But, yeah, it's just, I don't know. There's just something about that, and I've always loved that. Nice suit, son, because it's just so subtle. That's what a mom would say. Nice suit, son. All right, now speaking of Zach Cregger, when it comes to Resident Evil, now he's given the details about the Resident Evil movie, because we were talking about this on the Vodka stream, kind of going like, okay, what is Zach Cregger going to bring to the Resident Evil franchise that nobody else can seem to do anything about? Because all the live-action Resident Evil stuff has been shit. I'll give Paul W.S. Anderson credit for that first Resident Evil movie, and maybe even the second one, kind of like, but all the rest of them suck. And then Paul W.S. Anderson mainly sucks also. But Alien vs. Predator, get the fuck out of here, and whatever he did with that Three Musketeers movie, oh my God. Anyways, that's enough about that. But Zach Cregger, he actually gave some details when it came to this, and it's probably going to not make some Resident Evil fans happy, but in my opinion, I think it's the right approach. Zach Cregger says his Resident Evil film will be an original story in the universe and not include any characters from the game. I'm not going to tell Leon's story because Leon's story is told in the games. Fans already have that. So it's going to be within the universe, not so much anything to do with the characters or anything like that. And I'm kind of going like, yeah, I don't know how many times I've thought about like, oh yeah, well, would there be a crazy story within this story I'm watching or within this universe that could be told? And I've always thought about something like that. And I like the fact, this is why I like Zach Cregger, because he's thinking outside the box. He's not thinking, he's like, oh no, I'm not going to try to make a Resident Evil movie that's already a story that you could play with the video games that the diehard fans will like. I'm going to tell a different kind of movie. It might not work. I'm not saying it's 100% going to work. Who knows? It could be a shit sandwich. But I like how he tells his stories from his previous two movies, so I'm intrigued by this. I'm actually intrigued by this. So he's got two movies. So Zach Cregger has two movies within two universes, one that he is making, one that he might make, who knows, that have to do with characters within the world and how they interact. And I don't know. It's just kind of an interesting approach, especially I think it's a better approach than trying to just like, all right, let's reboot it again. Let's try again. Well, no, let's just tell a story right here. And then, I don't know. We'll see. It could be a shit sandwich. You never know. Could be a shit sandwich. All right, what else we got? We'll talk about that. Oh, okay, so here we go right here, guys. 31 years ago this weekend. 31 years ago. 1994. There were three movies that were out in the movie theaters. Can you guess those movies? Probably not. Well, maybe you can guess one or two or something like that, but these are the three movies. It's pretty crazy when you think about it, but these were the three movies that were out in theaters 31 years ago. Shawshank Redemption, Pulp Fiction, and Forrest Gump. What? That's those three movies. All Academy Award winning movies right here. And you know what? I remember writing letters to people, and people were watching the box office. They were analyzing the box office. They were going, Jesus, this box office sucks. Who's going to win July? No, wait. We weren't doing that back in 1994. Nobody gave a fuck back in 1994. And these were just original movies. And people went to go see them. They weren't, pounding their keyboards online, talking about this Superman sucks, James Gunn sucks, or this, or, Marvel sucks, or this. Oh, man. I tell you. It was a whole different time then. It's a little history right there. A little history. Macaulay Culkin. Macaulay Culkin was doing a little chatting lately. I don't know why he's been making like the rounds. I know he's on Hot Ones and whatnot. I think he's promoting something. I'm not exactly sure what exactly is going on when it comes to all that, why he's making the rounds. But Macaulay Culkin actually talked about which Home Alone was his favorite. Home Alone 1 or Home Alone 2. And, and naturally he has a good reason of why he likes one of them. Macaulay Culkin says Home Alone 2 tops the original mainly because he got paid more. I own 5% of the net profit and also 15% of the merchandising. Thank you very much. So he and his family were very smart when it came to Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. And, it's kind of funny because when I saw this, I went, you know what? Home Alone 2 is better in certain ways. I wouldn't say it's the better movie. I think the first Home Alone is the better movie, overall movie. But I would say that Home Alone 2 has more to it, obviously because it's the sequel. It's got more to it. It's got more comedy elements, and the traps are obviously better. The traps are better. They're crazier. And, it just gets, it just goes way more extreme. Now, the reason why that Kevin ends up getting lost in New York is a dumb kind of reason, but they made it work. They made it work. But what was always funny about anytime I watch Home Alone 2, I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is supposed to be a year later. Why? And they filmed it like 2 or 3 years later. I'm like, why didn't they just make it 2 or 3 years later? Because all the kids like look like they grew up like 5 years. Even Macaulay Culkin is like, he didn't look like he grew up that much. But just watch Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2 and look at Buzz. Buzz in the first one is like this husky, squeaky voiced, like, just bully. And then in the second one, he's still a bully, but he like grew up, like he looks like he's 25 goddamn years old. And some of the other kids are like, Jesus, like what? Everybody's just grown up. But Buzz, geez, within a year, Buzz like turned into a man. It was crazy. I was like, why couldn't they just say it was a couple years later? It didn't have to be next year, but in the story, they're like, oh yeah, last year this happened. It's like, no, just make it, I don't know. When you're dealing with kids, I mean, this is what Stranger Things has had a problem with. It's like when you're dealing with kid actors, that, it's obviously when you're an adult actor, you can get away with, a couple of years have gone by. Well, we could still say it's a year later or something. Not with kids. Definitely not with kids. Let's see what we have here. Okay. Let's talk about this right here. I was too young to pound the keyboard. Yeah, I know. Back then nobody cared about all that stuff. But anyways, Warner Brothers is having a good year, guys. I hate to break it to all the people who still hate Warner Brothers, but Warner Brothers is having a fantastic year. And yes, I am rooting for Warner Brothers, even though I don't like the leader, the guy who's in there. I thought he might, he's coming in, and I was like going, maybe he's going to do some good. And for the first couple of years, Mr. Zazzy Pants was not doing the greatest job, and he's still kind of in my book. But at least when it comes to 2025, Warner Brothers is having a killer year. Which, yes, I want Warner Brothers to thrive. People in the business want Warner Brothers to thrive. They lost their way the past decade. They totally lost their way with all the different leaderships and the fuckery that was happening with a lot of the IPs. It was mismanaged, and luckily those people are gone, and we got new people in here. And guess what's happening in 2025? They were having a killer year, because look at this right here. Warner Brothers has become the first studio in history to have 6 consecutive films earn 40 million plus openings. And that is Minecraft, Sinners, Final Destination Bloodlines, F1, Superman, and Weapons. And this is the greatest part right here, guys. 50% of these are original films. Yes, that's my favorite part of that little statistic right there. Half of those are original. Weapons, F1, Sinners, original. That's what we need more of that. We need more of that. I mean, I think we're all surprised at how well Minecraft actually did, but I'm glad that it did what it did. But look at all that. Look at all that. So good on Warner Brothers. And I get it. There's some people out there that still, because, only because they hired the guy that they didn't want to be hired for DC Studios. It's the only reason why they didn't like him. I mean, those guys, they wanted Zach to make DC films until he's 90. That's why they're upset. But that's awesome. So I'll give kudos to Zazzy Pants. At least for that. I'll give him a little bit of kudos. Because, he wasn't exactly on, we weren't exactly glazing him for the last 5 years. Oh, good God. I have to talk about this. Frank Grillo. Sometimes Frank seems like a nice guy. I like Frank Grillo. I'm not saying he's like top notch, but sometimes he just needs to not talk. I mean, the last time he was saying something, he was saying like, you know what? I didn't want to do the dance number for Peacemaker Season 2 because I'm a serious actor. Like, I was like, dude, come on. You know how many B-roll movies you have that are on streaming services right now? I watched one like 3 weeks ago. It was bad. Serious actor? Come on. Frank, just lean into it. And thankfully he did. But now Frank Grillo decided to shoot off his mouth right here. Got a lot of backlash online. And this has to do with, well, just hear what he had to say right here. My God.
Things to do in this season, I will ruin your... No.
And by the way, she's a legit badass. I mean, if she was a ballerina, it would have been a successful movie. I mean, she is a killer.
Oh.
She is a killer.
Answer the question.
Oh, my Lord. Frank. So if Jennifer Holland was in Ballerina, it would have been successful? No. Look at everybody. Look at everybody. She's even like, did he just say that? And then they're just like, oh, yeah, they're trying to shut him up right there. But you could see everybody's face right here where they're just like, oh, did he just say that? Did he just say that?
And she is a killer.
Yeah, even, what's her name right here in the middle? It was like, Frank, what are you doing? Look at her face right there. Well, look at her face. Frank, what are you... no. That wouldn't have been the case. I'm sorry. You know, I don't know if he's trying to kiss Gunn's ass because that's James Gunn's wife. I don't know if that's supposed to be Kevin. I'm like, no. But it is kind of funny though. I'm like, has Jennifer Harlan been in anything else? I haven't seen. I don't remember seeing her in really anything else besides like the stuff we've seen her recently. But yeah, he just I don't know why he thought that was actually a good thing to say. It's like, no, man, nah, don't say that. Don't say that. He is a big hype man. I've talked to Frank. If you go back, I talked to him like 3 years ago or something like that. I've actually had him on the Vox stream. It was a pre-recorded interview. You can actually search that on the channel. I've talked to Frank. Had a great conversation with him. Like I said, I'm not trying to throw shade at the guy and saying like, fuck this guy and blah, blah, blah. Just sometimes I think he just, he just wants to say stuff and hype it up. And I don't think he was like really meaning it, but yeah, it's just like, okay, relax a little bit. I had no idea this was actually a thing, and I am a big Jim Carrey lover of movies, and I love the movie The Cable Guy, and this came across my feed, and I had no idea that this was a deleted scene from The Cable Guy. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but this is batshit fucking crazy. I don't know if you guys remember that, Matthew Broderick's character ended up having his name was Steven. He ended up having like a little nightmare. Obviously, if you know the premise of The Cable Guy becomes very obsessed with him, and then, a lot of things unfold when it comes to it. It's a dark comedy directed by Ben Stiller. I love the movie, but apparently this was a deleted scene in the movie, and this is insane. What the hell? I mean, they spent money on the VFX and everything for it to only be deleted. What the fuck? What the That's the thing out of nightmares. Jesus, that's the thing out of nightmares. Holy Lord. No idea. Had no idea that was a deleted scene. That is an acid trip of a movie. That is like Poltergeist on mushrooms. Whew. Jesus. What else we got? Okay. Tim Burton, stop. Tim Burton. Stop. I'm telling you to stop right now. Stop apologizing for your Dumbo movie. Please. Stop apologizing, because according to like a recent interview and everything like that, Tim Burton says his Dumbo remake, I'm sorry. Stop saying you're sorry. I don't know how many times I have to say it. Stop saying you're sorry. Dumbo, when it comes to the goddamn live-action Disney movies, the Disney remakes, Dumbo is the one that feels like it was actually directed by the goddamn director, okay? And I'm even, like I said, even like the Favreau ones, Lion King and Jungle Book, I like the Jungle Book. Lion King was fucking whatever. Didn't see Mufasa yet. But I was just saying, like, when it comes to Dumbo, that was my favorite one. I haven't seen them all. That was my favorite of all the Disney live actions because it felt like a Tim Burton movie. You felt his fingerprints on it. It didn't feel like a film by committee, like most of the other ones. Yeah, I'll even say that Aladdin felt a little Guy Ritchie, but not a lot. There's some Guy Ritchie-isms in there, but not a lot. But that's the thing, though. It's like he would never do. He's even said that he'll never do a Disney movie again because he had to fight for a lot of things. He had to fight the studio. I don't know. It's just blech. Just stop apologizing. Stop apologizing. Please. What the hell? They deleted that? Oh, interesting. Oh, yeah, and then we got this new Superman image right here, guys, that, I didn't think about this as a political piece of art. Yeah, I just kind of saw it and went, oh, that's kind of cool. They did that with the, oh, that's pretty cool. Not thinking of, oh, wait, shit, that's not the same colors of the flag that were actually in the movie. And here's the art right here. So we got the kid with that Superman S flag that we see in the movie, and then it's lined up to the S on the back of his cape. And I thought, oh, that's a really cool little concept. I like that. But then I didn't realize, oh, yeah, this is a political piece of art because that is the Palestinian flag. Did not realize it until about 5 minutes later. I went, oh, well, that might get some responses. And sure enough, it did because, you know, that's a crazy divide when it comes to that whole thing. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't have a dog in the fight when it comes to what's happening in the Middle East over there. You know, I don't. I just don't. My only thing is, hey, can we just stop killing people? That's my whole thing. That's really my 2 cents when it comes to that. Can we just stop killing each other? How about that? Let's try that approach when it comes to that. Of course, everybody's going to have their different opinions, especially political, and I had some people respond too. And then I even saw the responses, and I was like, hey, I just thought the concept of the art was pretty damn cool. Did not realize it was the colors of all that. And I'm just like, I don't have a dog in the fight. You know, I'm not Jewish. I'm not Palestinian or any, you know, I don't have family. Or I don't have a dog in the fight. I just stop killing people. We should all just, you know, let's just stop. That's all. Anyways, okay, moving on. I got another exclusive here, guys. That's right. I got another exclusivo right here. Do you guys want to see Millie Alcock's Supergirl audition? That's right. Her audition to play Supergirl, this new Kara, this one from Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. Obviously, she had to be drunk. You guys want to see her audition tape? Well, we have it right here. This is her at the Golden Globes.
Hollywood Foreign Press, thank you very much.
Game of Thrones. She is holding on to her fellow actress because she is really drunk and giggly.
And blimey, here goes the music. And one thing that I was going to say, which is really important,
she is trying her best.
I noticed when we did the premiere in LA, what everyone did is they had this kind of thing.
That's funny.
Hollywood Foreign.
Look at her. She is trying her best because she had a little too much champagne right there. It's funny. I forgot that existed. I remember hearing about that. This was probably, I don't know how many years ago. That was probably about like 3 years ago. I don't know, but I don't know. I think 3, 4, maybe 5. I don't know. She got a little toasty at the Golden Globes that year. Game City Savior is gonna. He thinks another woman is ugly. Watch out. Anyways, Quentin Tarantino. What is his next project? What is his last project going to be? Well, apparently, whatever it is, it's going to be shooting this December, on December 1st. If we're going by the Film and Television Industry Alliance, untitled Quentin Tarantino Project, feature film in development, pre-production, and it's supposed to shoot date is supposed to be December 1st. An as yet unrevealed film widely believed to be Tarantino's next and potentially final movie, described as a greatest hits type project given the talent linked. Plot details are under wraps. Rumored to be in the cast are people like Sam Jackson, of course, Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, and Uma Thurman, I think, too. So I'm kind of wondering, I'm like, what are you going to do? Is Tarantino going to take the Tarantino cinematic universe and try to make it into one little crazy movie? That's what I'm kind of wondering. Is he going to be doing something like that where he's bringing characters? Or is he bringing characters or just bringing the actors in there? I don't know, man. I'm very intrigued by that. Obviously, he was going to be doing a movie called, like, The Critic, which he was going to be, doing a movie about movie critics, especially the ones he came across his illustrious career. But that got thrown out, apparently. So who knows? We'll see what happens. Leo will probably be in it, too. It seems like if this is Tarantino's, like, last hurrah, I would say that everybody who was involved with the Tarantino movie will show up in this movie. All the actors. So yeah, you better believe you're going to see, like, Ving Rhames will come back. Damn. I almost said Bruce Willis, and I was like, yeah. Now, because I was thinking Pulp Fiction. I was like, well, yeah, probably didn't mean to say Bruce Willis. Hopefully he's resting and doing very well. But, yeah, I mean, I just wouldn't be surprised if, Tim Ross, a lot of people will probably be coming back for this movie. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens. Yeah, Tim Roth. Not Ross. Roth. Yeah, there you go. And shocker, guys. Did you guys really think that Shrek 5 was going to come out the same time as Avengers Doomsday? No, that wasn't going to happen. Of course not, because that's the thing. And we also have Dune Messiah that's supposed to be coming out the same time, too, when it comes to not this December, but the following December. But yes, guys, womp womp, Shrek 5 has been delayed to June 30th of 2027. I don't really care because I think I only saw the first two. I was never big on Shrek. I saw Puss in Boots. I thought Puss in Boots was pretty good too. But I don't think I watched Shrek the third or the fourth. I think I just watched the first two. So, yeah. And then speaking of Quentin Tarantino, man, there's a lot of tweets. Speaking of Quentin Tarantino, Simon Pegg talked about Quentin Tarantino's lost Star Trek movie because years ago we found out that he wanted to do a Star Trek movie. And I think I remember I did like a little bit about it on my channel. You could probably find it. I don't know. I think I did my best Quentin Tarantino impression, which was a really bad Quentin Tarantino impression. But according to Simon Pegg, he reveals that Quentin Tarantino's unmade Star Trek movie is batshit crazy. I think it would have been such an incredible sort of curio to see Star Trek through his lens. I don't know how it would have gone over with the fans, but it certainly would have been an interesting thing. So yeah, it would have been batshit crazy. I think, a Quentin Tarantino Star Trek would have absolutely went batshit crazy. And I made the joke right here. Just make it animated or a comic book. Get it? You guys get it, right? Oh, come on. You guys know what I'm talking about. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Oh, this is... We don't need to talk about that. All right. I've been rambling too much when it comes to the tweets. That tweets. Make it up for Paramount. Yeah, right. Pam Grier. What has Pam Grier been doing lately? Has she done anything lately? Huh. All right, guys. Let's talk about some DC. Let's talk about some DC news before we start talking about some of the main stuff right here, specifically when it comes to the box office. Like I said, not a ton of DCU news. Not a ton. But obviously, the box office is like the main thing. So we already talked about how, James Gunn basically essentially debunked the reported Batman 2 news where, the sequel is going to be a big swing and it's going to incorporate Robin or Dick Grayson. And then, of course, James Gunn, I talked about it on the Vox stream. I actually just posted the video clipping that out when it came to the Vox stream where he basically said, guys, please stop believing this nonsense. I think 6 of us have read the script. No one knows anything about the Batman 2. So, yeah, so he basically said that. But I even said, well, he didn't exactly debunk it. He just said, stop believing this nonsense, and just only 6 of us. Choice of words right there, of course. Of course there's a choice of words. But, so we did talk about that. And then, of course, there's the Cregger thing. So James Gunn decides to like, hey, let's post this little behind the scenes image. And it's kind of funny too, because on the Vodka stream, I was going, oh, you know what's going to happen now as the Superman hype is now going down and just kind of leveling out. Now you got to start hyping up Supergirl. So I'm willing to bet that we're going to be seeing a lot of like, behind the scenes images as well as video when it comes to Amelia Alcock doing her cameo in Superman. And sure enough, we have the Super Cousins. There they are. And apparently whoever took the picture, which I think it's James Gunn, man, he didn't take the picture until she had her hands up because her hands are in motion. But then again, it kind of looks cool. But yeah, there you go. There's Cornsweat and Alcock right there. And there is David Cornsweat's phone in his chonies. Don't look there. Don't look there. Eyes up here, guys. Eyes up here. But that's what's kind of funny, though, because then a lot of people are going like, especially when it came to Zazie Pants, when it came to the earnings call, when it came to him talking to the investors and everything, which we got the audio for that. And he basically said like, oh, yeah, we're happy that James Gunn is like now moving on to writing the next chapter of the Super Family. And it was kind of one of those things where it's like, dude, let's not give away too much. But at the same time, we already knew that James Gunn was going to be doing something within the Superman world next. Not directly a sequel, but it has something to do where Superman is a big part of it. But then everybody's kind of going like, well, if it's going to be within the Super Family, it's going to have to do with like, Super Cousins. It's going to do something to do with that. But it's going to be really interesting when they release that. But I would say that yes, Kara and Clark are going to be very much the leads in the next movie that James Gunn's going to be directing when it comes to the DCU Super Family. So it's a really good photo. It's a good photo. So like I said, I appreciate that James Gunn, even though like, the blurred hands, I'm like, yeah, the blurred hands are kind of cool because it's just, it was quick and it was everything. And then, like I said, you got Cornsweat's phone that is in his chonies. It's like, that's pretty cool. And then, yes, guys, when is Superman going to be... Let me say that again. When is Superman going to be able to be watched in the comfort of your own home? Well, we got that answer right here. And all I'm thinking, though, is like when I saw the dates, I went, oh, okay, so finally, this is when we're going to finally not be so obsessed, people so goddamn obsessed with the box office anymore. And that's in it's in a few weeks at the end of the month. That is, of course, this date right here. Superman, own it on digital, August 26th. That's just digital. And then, of course, when it comes to September, I think it was like a couple weeks later, you can actually physically own it on Blu-ray, 4K, all that kind of stuff. But I'm just kind of going like, oh, fuck. So then we could stop talking about this box office and all these box office experts and people moving goalposts and people glazing it up like, like that it did make $1 billion, because it's been goddamn ridiculous, guys. It really has. Like, I mean, when I go on my For You page and I see some of these people and I just go, wow, your whole demeanor online is to convince people that this movie is a flop. Is that your whole demeanor? It's crazy. And I see that a lot. It's just like, all right. So then, of course, speaking of the box office, James Gunn decided to answer somebody a little late, too, by the way. If you look at the dates, I was like, why are you answering this right now? But I think he felt like he needed to. And again, sometimes I think Jimmy Gunn needs to put the phone down. And I'm willing to bet that people who work within the studio and Warner Brothers probably are going, dude, put the phone down. Because sometimes it's like, stop it. Just let it be. Just let it be. But then again, a lot of us do the exact same thing. How many times have we responded to somebody that we shouldn't have? I've done that many times. You guys have probably done that many times. But sometimes people just know how to be like, just brush it off. But sometimes you just engage. But here we go. So Jimmy Gunn's talking about box office numbers and, of course, responding to this right here. So someone said, people online keep saying that Superman needs to make $650 million to break even and to be a success. Is that true, or would you say it's already a success? Huge fan of the movie, by the way. Absolutely false. Anyone saying that doesn't have any understanding of the film business, and we would be idiots to make a first in a franchise film that would need to make that much to be profitable. So there you go. No details, no anything. And again, this is why I always fall back onto the formula, but then again, things are differently when it comes to these movies. This can actually also be applied to Fantastic Four as well. You got to remember that, you know. But of course, everybody's a box office expert right here, and there is a whole group of people that hate the domestic numbers and everything, which apparently to them was never necessary. It was always about international, and then for some people it was always about I don't know. I'm trying to keep up with the discourse now because, you know, I always talk about domestic and international and then everything, but for some reason domestic didn't mean anything at first, even though the movies are made in the U.S. You would think they want to make the most in the U.S. because it's in the U.S., but these guys were like, oh, well, who cares about the new U.S.? I've had people come at me in my mentions going, nobody cares about domestic. I'm like going, that doesn't make any fucking sense. It's just for a moment there, like especially in the 2010s, it seemed like the international, like China and everything, they were pushing the numbers internationally. But that's not the case anymore. It's not the case. It's definitely not the case. So then people are going, well, look at the domestic numbers. Cool. Let's look at those domestic numbers. So let's bring this up right here. Let's bring up and see where Superman is right now. And the current domestic numbers, just shy of $580 million. Now, it'll likely cross 600, but where's it going to stop? Especially now that we know when it's going to be released on digital, but that does not necessarily mean it's going to be removed from theaters. I would say it probably will it'll be above 600, 610 to 620, maybe. That's where I think it'll land, maybe 625, somewhere right there. So not bad for trying to restart a universe, and in 2025 with everything, not bad at all. It's definitely not, but like I said, there are people out there that their whole demeanor online is to convince people that this is 100% a flop, and I don't understand that because I'm just like going, does your family know what you do? Like your obsessiveness over this movie and this director, like it's so fucking weird, you know? And you guys know some of the people I'm talking to. There's somebody who has a YouTube channel that talks about this all the time and on Twitter, and I see his tweets sometimes and I'm going, dude, what? I'm like, I know this guy has a family. Do they know that he talks like this online? Like he is so obsessed? It's crazy. And then you got the other side that are, of course, they were like, you know, anytime they were licking their chops. They were waiting. They were waiting to go online. You know, when it passed Man of Steel's domestic gross, boop, 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 boop. And then, of course, this past weekend, it passed Batman vs. Superman's domestic gross. So, boop, 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 boop. So, yeah, they were waiting for that. So you got that. You got that whole thing happening. And it's just like, can you guys just kiss already? You guys kiss. You know, I know you want to kiss each other. Just kiss. Because it's just like, shut up. I mean, yes, okay. And I even posted about, I was like, oh yeah, Superman is now outgrossed domestically Batman vs. Superman. Gross, of course, being the key word because it brought in more money domestically. Doesn't mean it sold more tickets. We get it. You know, different times, decade ago, 9 years ago, I should say. Not the same kind of stuff, but let's just not get so obsessive. Let's just not get so obsessed. And that's why I'm just going, fuck, man. When Superman finally leaves theaters, we can stop obsessing over the box office. I mean, I talk about the box office every Monday all the time. I'm all about talking about, hey, what's this movie making? Here's the numbers. And it is straightforward. But man, when I'm seeing some of the bad takes online from both sides, it's absolutely insane. Everybody's just trying, it's a big, weird dick measuring contest of box office. And I'm just going, hey, Man of Steel was a success. Superman is a success. Both are successes, all right? I'm like, sorry, diehard Snyder fans. It's a success. People are hyped about it. People are, it had legs. Yes, it didn't beat Man of Steel. You can have that victory. You could definitely have that victory. That is not bringing Zack Snyder back. The Snyderverse is not coming back. Maybe in the future, something could happen where Zack can come back and make something in the DC universe again, but that's not going to bring him back. As well as it shouldn't, because the man is fucking busy. Leave the man alone. But I get it. You're not actually fans of him. Anyways, and then over here, it's like, hey, stop trying to be like, okay, stop. They're both good movies. Man of Steel's a good movie. It might not have been your bag. Yeah, it's too dark, too this, too that. He's too stoic. And fuck off, okay? There was an adult version. Now there's this version that is more family friendly. And Corn Sweat's a great Superman too. Just be like, hey, cool, it's got legs. You don't need to be like waiting for it and just, licking your chops and being like, oh, I can't wait to stir the pot a little bit. But I get it, though. People online are just, that's what we do. That's what we do. I stir the pot, too. Hey, I'm guilty. I'm not saying I'm not. I'm not saying I'm not guilty. I'm guilty. But yeah, so it's just funny. Did I just splash? I totally just splashed my glasses. Hold on. Where? Crap. There we go. I just splashed my glasses with my little water right here. Got a little too crazy. Got some drops on my freaking glasses. Anyways, got a little too insane right there. So there you go. I mean, it's just, I don't know. You just see all that stuff, and it's just, you try to be as neutral as possible. But yeah, like I said, I'm not saying I'm guilty too. I'm guilty as well for, engaging with that stuff too. But I try to go back and forth when it comes to this. But some people just get way too involved in it. I think some people just go way too involved. So. And then James Gunn posted this right here. Posted with little baby Joey. There you got baby Joey right there. He's cute and frightening at the same time, isn't he? And baby Joey's pretty weird too. I think I already made that joke with Mr. Handsome. But yeah, James Gunn posted that. And then, of course, they officially posted DCU Prime TV. They officially posted the... So you want to see that, the actual title sequence, the title of it. I'm not going to lie, guys. When it comes to, like, the actual title, like, when I saw it 3 times. I saw Superman 3 times. And it's a cool little title, like, the way it is. I don't know. But for some reason, like, it didn't, like, anytime I saw, like, the title, the opening title for Superman, I went, they could have done something a little bit better, but... I mean, it works, but I don't know what it is. There's something about it, but you could actually see it online now. They posted it. Of course, it does that. I don't know. Like, it was just like, okay, that's cool. And obviously, he, like, flies up, and it zooms in on the S, and then it just does that. That part's cool. Maybe because the score is a little lackluster. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the score. I don't know, it's just something about it where I'm like, it just didn't, Anytime I saw it, I went, it should have been just, I don't know. But then at the same time, sometimes the opening title sequence it's not all that crazy. I think when it comes to CBMs, I think actually the first Avengers has one of the best. The first Avengers, like, opening title, like, when you see the title of the Avengers, it's really good. Because you have Nick Fury, after that whole attack happened with Loki, and then he's holding a walkie-talkie, and he, obviously they're like, what do we do? And then he just, like, drops it down, and the camera, like, moves in on him, and then it goes, dun, dun, and then the title forms, dun, 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 That one is just, whoa, really good. But I'm not saying I hate it. I'm just saying, I was like, it's just missing, missing something. I think it's just the score just doesn't, and maybe I don't know. I'm just being a little stickler about it. It doesn't break the movie for me. I really like the movie still. All right, then finally, when it comes to DCU news, we got My Adventures with Green Lantern. Apparently, Nexus Point News, they got some of the info when it comes to this. My Adventures with Green Lantern will feature Kyle Rayner, Nikki Jones, Kilowog, and more. Rayner will serve as Jessica Cruz's love interest. What? Well, I mean, Simon, I don't know I don't know where that relationship went. I know they were always like the pair. They were always grouped up. I'm sure Simon Baz is going to be in it, but obviously this is going to be her in high school, so does that mean Kyle is probably going to be in high school too? So, you know, it's cool. Kyle Rayner, it's fine. I just wonder if this whole thing is going to be taking place in the same world that My Adventures with Superman. I'm assuming so. Maybe? I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, I think that's pretty much it when it comes to DCU news. Let me double check. Let's double check some of the other stuff. If I missed anything, I don't think I did. Some Peacemaker stuff. Obviously, Peacemaker's coming out in 10 days. I haven't been keeping up with the Peacemaker podcast. I'm not going to lie, you know. I haven't. I'm not that obsessed. But, yeah, I mean, stuff we already talked about. James Gunn did post this right here. He posted this image, which is so, it's just it's so funny. The look on both her faces is just so different. I mean, you got Viola Davis right here. She is totally she is in her character. She is in Waller character mode. And Gunn's just like, hey, are we doing this? Are we doing it? And she's just like, shut the fuck up. It's just funny. It's just a funny looking picture. I'm not gonna lie. Just a funny looking picture. All right, guys, that's all the DC stuff right there. I got an itch on my back. There you go. Good Lord. Good Lord. Yeah. So. Oh no, actually, there is more. I forgot about this. So people are passing around this, and I'm kind of going, all right. Again, Jimmy Gunn's just doesn't. Sometimes he just doesn't know how to explain things correctly. So then, of course, the fans and people, when it starts going, getting tossed around and going viral online, people start going like, well, what the hell? That doesn't mean, what are we talking about? And this has to do with Wonder Woman and Flash. He apparently mentioned in the podcast, I think it was episode 6 of the Peacemaker podcast. Obviously, they're rewatching the episodes of season 1, but he talked about this right here, and it said right here when it comes to the podcast, and I don't have the clip, but I'm just going to read off the 2 quotes. We have Steve McGee saying, Wonder Woman and Flash were mentioned in Peacemaker's classroom scene in season 1, episode 6, by the kids. You remember that scene where Peacemaker's talking to the kids, and they do mention those characters. James Gunn, of course, speaking on the canon, he says, yeah, are they canon? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, they'll exist eventually. Whether they exist now, I don't know. So a lot of people are going like, well, wait a minute. Shouldn't Wonder Woman already exist? I mean, Cersei, we saw, there's a lot of things. Obviously, when we saw the Creature Commandos vision, that was supposed to be in the future, more in the future, of course. But, I mean, I don't know. It's just like, what are those things? Like, do they exist? I don't know. They'll exist eventually. So a lot of people are emphasizing like, wait, so Wonder Woman doesn't exist. We get that Flash doesn't exist, but Wonder Woman, and it's just a lot of things where people are going. And I'm just thinking in the context of it, he just doesn't want to give too much away yet. It seems like they have a specific timeline of how they're releasing things. So, anyways, that's the last thing. That's officially the last thing right there. Almost forgot. Spider-Man Brand New Day. Okay, Marvel Studios, you're on a roll. You're on a roll right now. You're definitely on a roll. And yes, you are distracting from the fact that Fantastic Four is not doing the numbers that you wanted it to do at the box office, which totally makes sense. I mean, superhero movies, there's a little bit of an issue when it comes to superhero movies, of course, right now. But hey, just keep doing this. And we have a new video right here from the set, day 1 of Spider-Man Brand New Day, which of course we already saw a lot of the people posting pictures and videos. Tom Holland having a good time waving at fans, but now we have an official video that they released that is edited and everything.
Alrighty.
So how are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel good, man. It's day 1.
Day 1?
My 4th ever day 1 on Spider-Man. It's funny putting the suit on. It feels different this time somehow. It's also the first time we've ever had fans on set for day 1, so it's really exciting to share this with them. We've got some familiar faces on set.
Look at that suit.
You know, I'm just going to do my best. Hopefully get it right. No pressure.
Wow, that's really a good one. All right. I will say, I mean, Tom Holland really does. He does have the poses just so good. He's good with the poses. He's good with the poses. A lot of good things right there, of course. Close-ups of that suit. Like I said, I mean, yeah, sometimes the suits look bad behind the scenes. Not this suit. I mean, come on. That suit is just looking just killer. Just looking so good. You know? Looking so good right there. And also, can I say this right here, you fucking weird Spider-Man fans? What is your hatred to John Watts? All of a sudden, I'm seeing Spider-Man fans throwing shade at John Watts, who made 3 Spider-Man movies. Yes, they're not all stellar. Obviously, No Way Home was the ultimate fucking wet dream for any Spider-Man fan. What is up with the hate that is thrown? Because one of the things I kept seeing was because of this particular shot right here, when he, obviously we have Mr. Cretton, Daniel Cretton, right? Is that what his name is? And you see how happy Holland is.
Fourth ever day one on Spider-Man.
He's all happy and everything like that. People are going like, you never saw Tom Holland like that with John Watts. You didn't see a video like this when it came to previous movies. What are you talking about? What all of a sudden, like, we're just going like John Watts is a hack? Are you kidding me? I'm just like, I've been seeing that. I've been seeing that online from Spider-Man fans. Spider-Man fans are bad too, man. They could be annoying and just like say stupid shit. I'm like, what are you talking about right now? He's excited because he's making another Spider-Man film and it's going to be great. Good Lord, there's no shade. There's no shade that's thrown onto John Watts. John Watts, again, brought arguably one of the best Spider-Man films because he brought all the Spider-Men together in one movie that just was like a huge crowd pleaser. A huge crowd pleaser. I mean, I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it's up there. But yeah, people just... Ugh. And then, of course, what's his name? What's his name? Fuck. What's his name? I got a couple... what's his name? Who's Ned, right? What's the actor's name? Fuck, I can't remember the actor's name. Totally drawing a blank. But you know who plays Ned. He posted this on his Instagram. Kind of teasing the Hobgoblin. I mean, we're going to see Ned in there. Jacob Bolton. Thank you, sir. But he posted this right here. So a lot of people are kind of going like, oh, is he teasing Hobgoblin? So, yeah, I mean, they're having fun. They're having fun. They're definitely having fun with this. And then people are having fun too because, you know, that beautiful like shot from behind when he's standing up on the tank with everybody around him. People made it into like comic book art. I mean, Jesus Christ, look at that. And this is from who is this from? This is from Pinky Me. You know, people just taking it upon themselves to take that shot. I mean, because it's such a good shot. Such a good shot. They turn it into a poster. Yeah. I love it. I love when people, and like I said, I mean, Marvel Studios, keep it up. Marvel Studios, keep this up. I mean, obviously it's going to be difficult when you're not shooting outside and you're not going to have, you know, there's going to be like a period of like, we don't hear anything from this or see anything from this. But again, just keep it up. Just keep it up. Keep it up with the hype. You're keeping, you know, you're getting people hyped up. That's good. I think that's what both Marvel Studios and DC Studios are really realizing that, hey, we got to post things all the time. We just got to post things all the time. All right, let's talk about the full-on box office. You know, we already talked about the Superman box office and everything when it comes to that. But, you know, Superman did not make the top 5 this box office weekend. But, of course, it wasn't. It's been a month. It's been a month, and we've had numerous movies come out since. So here we go. Here's the top box office. I am so happy that Weapons, an original horror movie that's a little bit of a black comedy, #1 at the box office. And look at these numbers, man. 43.5 domestic, 28.3, 71.8 worldwide. I'm telling you, they sold it. They had a hook. The movie had the ultimate hook. Now, whether or not you liked how you when you found out what caused the children to do that, that's on you. I was okay with it. I was good with it. I was perfectly fine with it, especially how it ended. And then Freakier Friday, I'm surprised. I would have thought Freakier Friday would have taken the box office. Not gonna lie, I would have thought it would have taken the box office, but it did not. 28.5 million domestic, 15.2, 43.9 worldwide. And then Fantastic Four moves to, of course, the third spot. Now, it's at 435.3 million worldwide. What's funny is that international number and that domestic number, not far off from each other. It's off by 6%, which is very interesting. Pretty interesting when it comes to that. I'm not sure if this is going to have the legs. Is it going to actually make a $500 million? It might. But, man, is it struggling to get a $500 million? I tell you. And then The Bad Guys 2 is at 84.3. I'm not sure what that budget is. And then, of course, you have The Naked Gun. It's at 56.3. And then, of course, Superman. And then, like I said, I mean, that domestic and international is way different. People in the U.S. are flocking to Superman more. And then Jurassic World is still running pretty strong. Now it crossed 800 million. So Jurassic World, of course, the dinosaurs, people are still flocking to the dinosaurs. But again, look at that international number. The international people were flocking more to the dinosaurs. It's like they're just tired of the people in tights and capes now. Crazy. And then you had F1. F1 is reaching 600 million and probably will reach 600 million, that international number, because F1 is, of course, huge internationally. So it's just all crazy. Like I said, you got to look at both numbers. Yes, both numbers matter, guys. Both numbers matter. According to the diehard Snyder fans, domestic numbers never mattered. And then, of course, according to the diehard other side, domestic numbers are the biggest thing in the world. Oh, my God. Jesus Christ, the discourse out there, the box office discourse. Cannot wait till it's over with. Yes, I think Superman will reach 600 million. It'll cross 600. I think it'll stop between 610 and 620. That's my guess. I think that's where it's going to stop. So, again, you diehard Snyder fans can have that victory that it's not going to beat the entire gross of Man of Steel. You don't have to do the inflation thing either. Don't have to do the inflation thing. But again, it changes nothing. It's a success. The DCU continues. Move on. Move on. You could obsess over the same 3 movies for the rest of your lives, but move on to, movies that you might go to the movies and have a good time instead of obsessing over this Superman movie and trying to prove to people that it's a fucking flop. Please. Please. The whole campaign of Fantastic Four is going to wipe out Superman, that didn't work. That did not work. All right. John Rambo. We got a new Rambo, guys, and this is going to be interesting, and kudos to this young man, because that's some pretty big headband to fill. Boots. I guess he's, Rambo does wear boots, but he wears a headband. The headband is the biggest thing. And it's just we heard about this too. And this is not the first time because, man, when you have these classic 80s characters, obviously one of the biggest litmus tests of replacing an iconic actor who was the star of this certain character, that when you hear that character, you go, oh my God, that's Harrison Ford. And of course, I'm talking about Han Solo. Look what happened when they tried to do a Han Solo prequel movie. And poor Aldrin, what's his name, who was in Weapons and did a great job, poor, that poor guy, just, he got wrapped up into it, and people did not like that movie. So there was talks, and I'm sure it's still going to happen. There was talks that we're supposed to get a prequel John McClane type movie where there would be a younger John McClane. Who knows if that's going to happen now, especially when it comes to Bruce Willis and, his health and everything, because they did want to have Bruce Willis be a part of it, to be like, oh, and do a flashback thing and whatever. But there is going to be apparently a Rambo origin movie, and yeah, that's right. We got, what's his name? Noah Centineo. Centineo? I'm probably saying his name. Centineo? Apparently, according to these sources, he is going to be playing John Rambo. Huh. I could see the look, but man, is he going to have to, does he do a little bit of the... does he do a little of the Stallone? Or he can't do that, right? He can't do the... he's going to make it his own. He can't do the... he can't do that. I don't know. I mean, I think he's probably... He could... Isn't he also playing Ken in Street Fighter? This guy, he's fucking A, man. His representation is doing him a little bit of justice, I guess. But, yeah. So, the internet will eat this movie alive. Yeah. It's going to be very interesting to see how this whole thing plays out. But we're at that point where now we have these iconic 80s heroes, movie characters that we love, and, the original actors and actresses can't play them anymore. So it's just, I mean, I can't. Okay, so even that's happened before too. Look at Terminator Genesis. You had poor Emilia Clarke take the reins of Sarah Connor, and that was terrible. That didn't work. They made her play Sarah Connor, and that just did not work. That's an iconic character. I mean, Sarah Connor was only in 2 movies, but and she was only really a badass in that second movie. But man, that didn't really work. So, but I mean, not when it comes to something like Rambo, that's what's going to be interesting. And I kind of wonder is Sylvester Stallone, is he a part of this? Because he lost the rights to Rocky. He had nothing to do with Creed 3 because he lost the rights to all that and had no involvement. They just kind of went, we're done with you. Even though you created this character, we're done with you. Now, Sylvester Stallone didn't create this character. It was based off a book, but of course it's been, it got rearranged into something else. But it's going to be very interesting to see what happens with all this. I'm intrigued. We'll see what happens. All right, let's go ahead and get to some Twitter questions. Let's get to some Twitter questions, see what you guys are saying over here on Twitter. Oops. And then we'll wrap up the show. I think I'm actually going to go back to doing live on Wednesday. So, I was doing the Film Junkie Not So Live and just premiering it. But I'm thinking we'll do it live on Wednesday, unless something changes. I think the Film Junkie Not So Lives, and even we've been pre-recording the DC Fanimated streams, and I kind of effed up last week. I meant to premiere that, but it ended up just posting. I didn't hit the premiere tab, sadly, and I was already out to dinner, so I didn't see it. But I think every now and again I'll do a Film Junkie Not So Live, but I'll start doing it live again and just interacting with you guys. It was just kind of a test and see where that's at. It was kind of cool, but I think we'll probably just go back to doing lives. But every now and again I'll do a not so live, so we'll do it live. All right. Let's see what you guys have to say here. Eric. So Dave, Disney's apparently announced they will make Hulu a page on Disney Plus, dissolving the separate streaming service. I say this is the opposite of what they should do. Remember when Disney had Touchstone to keep separate all their non-Disney stuff? Why do the opposite? Yeah, I know. That whole thing is going to be ugh. Yeah, I'm kind of worried about that. I'm like, God damn, I like the Hulu layout. I like it better, but apparently, yeah. I mean, I get it. It'll just be its own thing on the Disney Plus app. Does that mean it's going to be the same price or a discount price? No, that means prices will go up. And then Disney will swallow up Paramount Plus. They'll swallow up all this other stuff. And then it'll just be like ordering cable. Adrian. Yo, Adrian. Hey, Dave, have you heard a Spider-Man Brand New Day being just like the Winter Soldier? Yeah. High expectations. I do quite have. How do you think it's going to play out? And also, did you hear that laugh at the end of the behind-the-scenes trailer? No, I didn't hear the laugh. There was a laugh? I'll have to go back and look at that. Yeah, they did that whole thing like, oh yeah, it's they're saying like Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to be like Winter Soldier. I think Winter Soldier is the Marvel version of The Dark Knight. Just like how like, oh, this is the best DC movie since The Dark Knight. Now everybody now like I don't know, I think it's happened before where it's like, oh yeah, now when it comes to Marvel Studios movies, they're like, oh yeah, it's in the tone of Winter Soldier because they know that Winter Soldier is like the highest rated fucking Marvel Studios movie. Joshua G saw this on Instagram. Credit to at Cole. Look at that. So you got Superman and Galactus. Ooh, that is. Oh, I love that music. That music. Oh, that's some John Carpenter shit. That is some John Carpenter shit. Oof, love that. Devin Wooter. Hey, Dave, do you think we're going to get Supergirl trailer at the end of the year? Yeah, I would. I mean, I would think it would show up this year. Supergirl movie will do well because Superman and what the better superhero movies for me, Superman, and why people are mad at WB for digital release for Superman. I think they still think it's a little too soon. It's 45 days. I think some people think it should be 60 days, which, yeah, I mean, I think it would depend on the movies. If the movie's doing well still, if it has legs at the box office, keep it at the box office. So I can see why people are having a gripe because Superman still is having good legs at the box office. So I think some people are just like, no, push it to September. Well, I mean, look at what happened with Jurassic World. You can already get Jurassic World on digital. And that movie's at $800 million worldwide. What is Universal thinking? After a month? Stupid. Joshua G, hey Dave, such a great weekend for an original film at the box office compared to a Disney film and sequel for once, which many people thought FF2 would be big, while Weapons, Freaky Friday 2 wouldn't do well, which got me thinking maybe people are over unnecessary sequels that should not be made. Yes, and again, Weapons had a hook. Weapons had the biggest hook of the year. And hopefully Weapons does even better the second weekend and so on because it was good. Yeah, I hope it sees like a small drop like Sinners. And then that's a bot. That's the thing. It's like Weapons just had that hook. Weapons had the hook. The ultimate hook. One of the best hooks ever. They didn't reveal too much in the trailers. They didn't need to. All you had to do is see that initial like, oh, why the fuck did all these kids at 2:17 in the morning exit their houses and run out like that? Why did they do that? So then everybody's just intrigued by the mystery of like, oh, I need to find out why they did that. And then they're treated with a kind of different tone of a movie that could be surprising. Some people did not like it, of course, but the way that the whole thing like plays out and the story is told, it's great. It's absolutely great. Yeah, I've seen the people that just complain like, I didn't really like how it ended or how when you find out what exactly is happening. And I'm like, yeah, I can see that. It's when it comes to a movie like this, when it comes to a lot of movies or TV shows like this, it's very easy to pitch people the initial like, this is what's happening. And then we're going to take you down the journey to see why this is happening. And we all do this thing where we're trying to figure it out. And then when you finally see it, sometimes it's just like, oh, really? That's why? Oh. Well, okay. Some people just do that, you know? I've done that. Sometimes you just kind of go, all right, that was a little anticlimactic. I didn't think that was Weapons. when I started seeing like what was unfolding and what was, you know, doing all this stuff, I was like, oh wow, this is about to get insane. And it totally did. I knew because I saw Barbarian, and I'm like going, okay, Zach Cregger, now that you're revealing what is happening with this scene right here, I'm going, oh fuck. I can only imagine how this movie's going to end. And sure enough, did not disappoint with how the movie ended. Holy Lord. My theater was pretty, pretty hefty, and they were laughing. Everybody was having a good time. Weapons is one of those that you want to see in the movie theater with a group of people, with a big group of people. And then when it comes out on video, watch it with a group of friends. And if you want to toss back a couple, smoke something, do it, because you're going to have some fun. Because it is kind of like a dark comedy. Scott McClellan, you know, my good buddy Scott McClellan and co-host of DC Fanimated on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock Pacific time. He's not big on horror and gore movies. He had no intention on seeing this movie. But then he kept seeing the hype and reading things about it. He asked me, he goes, is it too gory? And is it too, like, you know, as a parent, am I going to be like, And I'm going, you know, I think you'll be all right, man. It kind of plays out like a dark comedy. You actually might. And he really enjoyed it. He was not planning on seeing the movie. Very hesitant. He really enjoyed the movie. One of my really good friends, who is a parent as well, was texting me as she was going into the movie, going, I don't know about this movie. I don't know. And then even during the movie, this is on Saturday, I get a text from her. She goes, I'm not liking this movie. This poor kid. Talking about the kid who's like the only one that didn't leave didn't disappear in the classroom and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, keep watching. She ended up really liking the movie. She was totally not about it being a parent to two very young kids. So she was like letting it be known. I'm just saying, like, this movie is a pretty special little freaking movie, and I love it. I love that people are really enjoying it. And it's definitely going to be probably in my top. It's definitely going to be in the top 5 of 2025. We'll see. It's definitely going to be in the top 5, but we'll see what the other ones are. All right, guys. That is the show. That is the show today. Thank you guys for joining. Hit that like, thumbs up. Come on. You were doing so good, and all of a sudden, okay. All of a sudden, this thing started tripping out on me a little bit. Subscribe, hit that like, thumbs up, and like I said, we'll see. I might just do. I'm probably gonna just go back to doing lives on Wednesday. Maybe every now and again I'll do a not so live, but I'll probably be back doing all this. So, anyways, all right, guys, hit that like, thumbs up. Follow if you want to support the Patreon. I'm gonna do a post show on there, and like I said, if you want to just support it, just $1, $3. And I'm gonna start doing some more of that other stuff too, where I start. I want to show you guys his names who are supporting the Patreon. But yeah, you can find all my videos on there, ad free, all the stuff. And yeah, I'll be posting my post show on there, talking about today's show on there and everything. So, all right, guys, see you on Wednesday. Love ya. Talk to you later.